Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 6 o'clock, and tonight the search is on for a new attorney to represent the defendant in the Delphi murders trial. As we first brought you as breaking news yesterday, Richard Allen's defense team withdrew from his case. This is a big setback for Richard Allen, who's accused of murdering Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Allen's trial was supposed to begin in January, but that's now on hold. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Segall tonight explains how long this delay could be and what's being done to find Allen a new attorney.
This announcement Thursday afternoon took even the judge by surprise.
We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen.
With that, the trial of Richard Allen is now on hold as a search begins to find a new defense team.
I would suspect this might take a little bit longer than expected.
Michael Moore is Assistant Executive Director with the Indiana Public Defender Council.
Right now, Indiana is facing an attorney shortage, so it's very likely this process could take a long time because just of the sheer lack of lawyers available.
Moore spoke with me Friday afternoon, and he said because Carroll County relies on judges to appoint public defenders, the new defense team in the Delphi murders trial will be selected solely by Special Judge Francis Gall.
I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment.
Gall will have to appoint someone with lots of felony trial experience to meet requirements of the state's Public Defender Commission. Moore says whoever the judge selects to be Richard Allen's new attorney will have a lot of work to do. First and foremost, simply earning the trust of the defendant.
You have to develop a relationship with the client, and the attorneys here did. And so coming in as a new lawyer and trying to reestablish that relationship will be a challenge. It will take time.
Other challenges include reviewing a mountain of evidence collected over the past 6.5 years and deciding whether to follow legal strategies already laid out by Allen's former attorneys or to develop a brand new defense.
That can be really challenging, especially with a case where it's so high profile, where there are so many outstanding discovery issues and evidentiary issues that have not been resolved.
With all those challenges, Moore thinks a new defense team will need a long time to prepare for trial, meaning a delay that could last well beyond next summer.
I think 6 to 9 months would be highly unrealistic for him to receive a fair trial, even with two lawyers. I still think a year and a half to 2 years in that time frame is probably a more realistic time frame because they are essentially starting from scratch.
The next hearing for Richard Allen will be October 31st. 13 News will be there. Whether Richard Allen's new attorney will be there or even appointed by then is still to be seen. I'm Bob Segall, 13 Investigates.
So as Bob said during his report, this would be a lot for new attorneys to take on. So tonight we talked with one here in Marion County. She's not affiliated with this case, but she did give our Lauren Kostiuk some insight into this process. Lauren?
Yeah, Scott, her name is Katie Jackson Lindsay, and she is a well-known defense attorney here in Marion County, mostly handling murder cases. She said taking on a case like this would be a huge challenge, and that's because it is very time-consuming and expensive. Not to mention, Richard Allen is being held at the Westville Correctional Facility hours away in Northwest Indiana. And with an attorney being appointed versus selected by the defendant, the court also has a responsibility to make sure the new counsel can handle a murder case like this.
And so you have to be willing to make that sacrifice to take that case at a lower rate. And is that something that you could, frankly, afford to do in terms of how it would affect the rest of your practice? I mean, this is the type of case that would shut a practice down to solely focus on this case.
And she said the other challenge is all the evidence. We are talking almost 7 years worth. So a lot to consider for whoever takes on this case, but it's a decision Judge Gall will ultimately have to make. Scott?
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. Right now, our coverage of the Delphi murders continues online. There, we've got a full timeline of this case, plus all of our past stories. Just head over to WTHR.com/Delphi. You can scan this QR code on your screen. That'll take you right to our page.